Welcome to the Living Large Theater podcast, where we talk about the issues important to you. Admission is free. All you need is a sense of humor and a thirst for entertainment.
And welcome to another edition of the Living Large Theater podcast. I am Billy Santiago, along with my good friend of 36 years, Gary Rodriguez, along with producer extraordinary Noe Ayala. And today on the pod, we'll be talking to former Olympic gymnast and now a therapist, Fabiola Martinez. And also we'll be talking about spring break. And hey, what's a podcast without talking Cowboys and the NFL? We got that coming up. And I can't believe it's on our board, but we're also talking XFL as well if we get an opportunity. But hey, Gary's here right now with some opening comments. Let's hit Gary right now. Gary, what's up, buddy?
Hey, thank you, Billy. Welcome inside the Living Large Theater. Admission, as always, is free. All you need is a sense of humor and a thirst for entertainment. You know, this is our second season. I want to thank my co-host, Billy Santiago, and super producer Noe Ayala. But when I speak on this podcast, I speak only for myself. You know, way back in the beginning of this podcast, I was a raving lunatic. I would throw the F word around like rice at a wedding. I would savage Joe Biden and the minions who fawn over him just for walking a few steps without falling down. But when I heard recordings of myself on those early programs, I realized just how awful I was coming off. So I stopped all that and focused more on just being entertaining. But today, I can't help myself. This moron in the White House is tearing our nation apart. He is continuing the race baiting started by Barack Obama when he was president. Biden slinks away from pushing back against subversive groups like Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and the trans movement agenda. He is indifferent to rampant crime. He supports ignorant teachers teaching our children how to be ignorant. He is deliberately tanking our economy so that more and more of you will end up dependent on the government to take care of you. He now has us on the very slippery slope toward a war with Russia and maybe China. He's turned his back on American workers. That's you, by the way. He's allowing tons of dangerous drugs to pour into this country 24 hours a day. He is jailing people who disagree with him. He's putting American farmers out of business at warp speed. I believe Joe Biden is violating the Constitution every single day he is president. Joe Biden is single-handedly crushing American values, American families, and the spirit of goodness that has set this nation apart from all others for over 200 years. Right now, we need, more than ever, Donald Trump back in the White House. And now, part two. It's time we all learn how to identify woke shit and avoid it. When you find it, and it's everywhere, go around it. There's no such thing as they and them. You're either a him or a her, period. There is no such thing as white privilege. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity. There's no such thing as cultural appropriation. Woke has become a cultural sledgehammer to intimidate those who achieved some degree of success and to elevate those who haven't done jack shit with their own life. Don't try to go through it because that's all the woke wants. It wants it, it needs it, it survives and thrives on attention. Don't give it one scintilla of your attention. It doesn't deserve it. Trust me. Don't fight it, break it. Don't buy it from those living in the woke world. Don't watch woke shit on TV or at the movies. Don't read shit written to support the woke like the crap written by that little piss clam, Prince Harry. Stupid woke places like Barnes & Noble, Starbucks, and Disney World don't deserve one penny of your money. Don't listen to music from fart blossoms like Sam Williams, Demi Lovato, and Harry Styles. Don't believe woke is the way to go. Of course, it's all up to you. These are just suggestions. The world is full of idiots who, even if you do express some degree of contrition for accidentally offending their intolerant sensitivities, it's never enough. They want blood, and they'll settle for anyone's blood, including yours and even their own. Next week, I take a blowtorch to cancel culture. This is the Living Large Theater. You can find us on Facebook.
Tell us how you really feel, Gary.
That's just suggestions.
We've been gone too long.
Hey, coming up, we're going to visit here in the studio on the 16th floor of this beautiful building with physiotherapist Fabiola Martinez. But first, Billy, Noe, spring break is just about here. What are your thoughts on spring break? We had some good ones, didn't we?
You know, my daughter, 18-year-old, senior in high school, she's going to the island on Saturday, and my wife doesn't know how to deal with it. I just said, hey, look, all you can do is tell her to be careful.
Yeah.
Don't be taking drinks from strangers.
Yeah.
And wish for the best. That's it.
Have faith and trust in God. Or you can let the air out of all the tires in her car.
Yeah. She's going with 9 of her friends. They rented a house.
Okay.
You know, I'm excited for her.
Well, here's my opinion on spring break down here. You know, I grew up in Dallas, and in Dallas, you don't get spring break. You get Easter, but you don't get a spring break vacation. I never heard of it till I moved down here. And when we were on the radio, I used to talk about why are we sending our kids to South Padre Island for spring break. I'm talking about high school kids where they're going to mingle with college students or people pretending to be college students who are 25, 30, 35 years old. It just doesn't make sense. I don't understand why they continue to do it. Give them a 4-day or 5-day Easter break apart from spring break, and maybe we can save a life. I don't know. What do you think?
I work. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, but when you were in college, Noe, did you go out to the island?
Yeah, high school
too. Did Gary and I encourage you to go out to the island back in the day?
We had
all the time.
great concerts out, Beach Bash.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I tell you what, first spring break, I started working February 22nd,
87.
1988.
88.
All right. And the week later, I'm at South Padre Island at the Sheridan. We're inside the Sheridan area, inside the bar area, broadcasting live, and it's like bad weather. And so everybody was like on the side of the hotel. And man, that was the best view I could have had for a week. And
It's
I did my show.
on those days when it happens about weather. I don't know why. Probably God sends a bad weather.
It's God. It's God sending the best, right? Fabiola, good observation there.
And so the Mad Mexican was doing the morning show, but we, nobody's up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
That's for sure.
Break.
That's for
so
sure.
We're trying to get guests to get on his show. So we go in the kitchen and get some kitchen help. Hey, you want to be on the show with Mad Mexican? And they come on, and we got them on the air and stuff like that.
Kind of like we did when we broadcast from the island.
You know what? It was so easy to get alcohol too in high school there at spring break.
Yeah, it's crazy. We shouldn't do it. We shouldn't send our
ID.
kids over there.
No ID. You didn't have to.
So I should tell my daughter don't go because Gary said so?
I'm just saying it's risky. You're out there mingling with 25, 35, sometimes 40-year-olds who are pretending they're still in college, and not all of them have the best intentions. I would say, if there's any way around it, don't do it. Don't go. But obviously, she's going to go, and I know she's going to have fun, and just pray, trust in God. She'll have fun and get back safely.
Thank you, Gary.
And have her check in with you at least 6 times a day.
Oh, no. I have to download the app. That app what is the app called, Noe? Where you
The
track her
location
phone.
and everything.
You know what I'm talking about,
Yes.
Fabiola? And so my wife goes, and we're going to keep track of her. But the thing is, I plan on going to San Antonio this week and hang out with my brother Nando.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to be tracking from San Antonio.
You may want to reconsider your own travels and stay close to home, man. All right. Coming up, also, we have St. Patrick's Day. A lot of tradition around the country on that. And we have David Carr signing with the New Orleans Saints through free agency. Free agency is going on now, and the NFL draft's coming up. Bill, what do you see in the horizon for? I know you're a huge Texans fan. I'm a Cowboys fan, and sure it's funny how Texans fans just seem to disappear after the 16th game of the year.
That's right.
Why are you hating on Texan fans? We're gonna get a quarterback in the draft, and we're gonna be noticed next year. We're not gonna be the bottom of the barrel.
All
I can
right.
tell you that
Just
right
stay
now.
away from Stetson Bennett. We want him for the Cowboys.
All I hear is blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so we're probably boring Fabiola Martinez. She's a physiotherapist. Fabiola, thank you so much for joining us here today on the Living Large Theater podcast. So
Pleasure.
let's get into this. Let's talk about you were training to be an Olympic gymnast representing Mexico in the 96 Atlanta Olympics, and your discipline was what? What could you do? You do a back handspring, or
It was gymnastic artistics, and it's for the elements that we use: the ball, the beam, the floor, and the bars.
Wow. So who were you like in that era of gymnastics in the worldwide Olympics? Who were you a contemporary with? Not Nadia Comaneci, right?
Nadia Comaneci, we had to take a workshop with her, and her coach that it was Bella Caroli.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
We also had the opportunity to teach us a workshop and everything. So it was very, very exciting to
Good
know
deal.
her. She signed me an autograph, a picture. Yes,
That's
everything.
good.
But in my level, it was in this time the winners of the Atlanta '96. It was Shannon Miller that she represented the U.S. and
Uh-huh.
she got the second place.
Wow. Excellent.
Yes.
And-
Were you
I
were you in
also
that
met-
Olympic game?
I was with her. I was a little more younger than them, but our coach wanted us to be in that level, so we know who are
yeah,
the
somebody to
best, right?
aspire to be like. Well, you still look
Correct.
in great shape. Do you train still or?
Well, I do right now just Pilates, yoga, and belly dance
Okay.
to maintain my body, but everything home.
And I saw a video of you doing silks at the Cine El Rey Theater. A quick
Yes.
background on how I met Fabiola. I was having lunch at a restaurant, saw a friend of mine, Bert Guerra, his brother, him and his brother owned the Cine El Rey downtown McAllen, and he was sitting having lunch with Fabiola. So I went and said hi. He introduced us, and we just started talking about things in history. And she's such an interesting person. If you have a chance to meet her, do
Thank
it.
you so much.
And also you're going to enjoy her personality, her knowledge, and also her generosity. So the silks, how did you get into doing that?
That was a great show we did here on Cine El Rey because, well, Bird uses a lot the lightning and it brings up all more emotion to the
Mhm.
public, and using the music that I use for the performance on aerial dance, it was like Circus du Soleil, but I learned it in Marbella, Spain.
Wow.
Yeah, with some Argentina people. Um, I saw in the magazines they were all in clubs and these fancy places
Uh-huh.
doing all this aerial dancing show, and I said I want to be there.
It
So
describes silks. What is that? For those for our listener who doesn't understand.
yes, it's like if you have seen the show of Circus du Soleil, they're acrobats. So it's two tissues that they hang from the ceiling, and it has to be like 30 feet tall at least.
Wow. Wow.
So it's more spectacular.
And
to
it's
see.
kind of like a ballet hanging from
Yes.
the
It's like a
silks.
ballet mixed with modern dance, but in the air.
It-
So it
yeah.
has falls and all these splits. You told me what I did in gymnastics. Of course, I did flips, back flips, handstands, everything.
And all this is choreographed
Yes,
to the
everything
music,
is
huh? So
correct.
I mean, that's precision timing there, isn't it?
Yes, I love the music. For me, it's part of my life too. So I love to integrate the music with the dancing.
Wow, that's outstanding.
Do you do folkloric dancing as well?
No,
No?
that's not my
That's not your thing?
my priority. But I was studying contemporary dance for 6 years in beauty arts. So it's like a modern dance,
Mhm.
and the technique is started in New York with Martha Graham of New York. And well, all the principal dancers are in there. I still follow them in Instagram. Right now, when it occurred, the COVID, the pandemic, it was a great opportunity because we all stay home, but all these dancers start to teach live classes for
Mhm.
free.
Oh wow.
So
Just to stay
imagine,
busy and just
yes,
to keep the discipline going.
correct, because we are very passionate as dancers too, and we love discipline. Is
Yeah,
the
I have very little of that. Now, do you have another show scheduled anytime soon, or are you
Not
working
for
on?
the moment.
Okay.
Shows I have been more studying right now with all the physiotherapies, all the anatomy, the
Mhm.
muscles, the tendons, the
That's
ligaments.
interesting. You have a good story on how you got into the physiotherapy. First of all, your
Yes,
father is a plastic surgeon, almost world famous, Dr. Ricardo Martinez.
correct. Yes.
And you didn't follow him into plastic surgery, but you
Mhm.
still maintained your interest in helping people feel better. So
In
you
medicine and
in
healing.
medicine,
Yes.
yes. And you had
Mhm.
told me that you are your own physiotherapist. So you don't go
Mhm.
to other people to.
I am my auto massage
Wow.
therapist. Yes,
And
I don't go.
does it still help even though you're doing it to yourself?
I started exactly like you say, Gary, like I told you, because of myself. I started since 5 years in gymnastics. So my body, it was like needing it,
Yeah.
therapy and all that. So I first said, you know what, I want to start learning the drainage, lymphatic
Hmm.
manual lymphatic drainage. And I talked to my dad and I say, you know what, I'm very interested in this technique because it's going to help me to recover from all my muscles and all the injuries I have had in gymnastics, in dancing,
Yes.
in the aerial dancing. And he said, you know what, I have been researching this technique that is called fibrolysis instrumental myofascial, that is from a doctor in Spain, from Dr. Raul Isage. So I start learning all that in online.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So when somebody goes to you, why are they going to you? They hurt themselves, or they want somebody massaging them?
Most of the time is that they are very hurt because they cannot even sleep. They are all tense of the neck, of the sciatic, of the legs, the arms. They don't even know where is the point that we're gonna get
They don't know where it
after.
originates from.
Yes.
Like Billy was saying before we
Mhm.
started recording,
Mhm.
you were having some issues with your sciatica.
My
Or?
sciatic nerve, yeah, I had
Yes,
it
very common.
on the right side of my leg. It went all the way up to my back,
Yes.
and I had to go to physical therapy. And I got to tell you, man, that
Very
physical
good.
therapy was really good.
Yes.
They were working muscles I didn't know existed in my body.
Hello, Mr. Jello.
That's a cool thing because then you can also visualize in your own body what was the thing that it was causing that
Mhm.
problem. So now you identify, and when it happens in the future, you say, okay, it's here.
Right.
So you
Well,
can
and they-
auto manage it yourself, or
They
go
gave me some
to
exercises to do.
exactly.
So you can
like
pinpoint the source.
flexibility exercises or stretching. is very
Honestly, I
good.
feel like I've been in gymnastics because my body's breaking down really fast as I age.
Hey, but you still look good. You still
Thank
look good.
thank you.
Yes.
But yeah, I tell myself,
Still
man,
young.
what happened to my back? What happened to my legs?
Wow. Yeah. Well, the good thing is we're all still here.
Yeah.
Hey, you're
exactly.
listening to the Living Large Theater podcast. Gary Rodriguez, Billy Santiago, super producer Noe Ayala, and our very special guest, physiotherapist Fabiola Martinez. You can hear us on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, iHeart. You want to sponsor us? Come on board. Call Noe at 956-451-1633. But please, not after midnight. I mean, come on.
Please don't do it.
Fabiola, before we go farther with you, tell us where you are and how people can get a hold of you in case they need to go see you for some therapy. And at the same time, I want to delve into more of the issue of stress causing some sort of physical pain. So where are you, and how can our listener find you and go contract you to take care of them and make them feel better right away, as you do so many people in your discipline here in the great city of McAllen?
I thank you so much, Gary. But well, right now I am located in 407 W Nolana Avenue, McAllen, Texas, 78501.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there is your find the place. Right now is like massage therapy.
Yeah.
Okay, and I will receive you there.
Do you give out your phone number, or would you prefer not to?
Yes,
I
my
don't know.
phone number is 956-780-0093. I will be very glad to give you a great therapy there that I can help you to get recovered and for best healing and best health.
That's outstanding.
Do
Go
you,
ahead,
do
Noe.
you provide cupping too? Is that a thing that you all do there as well? The cupping?
Yes,
Yes,
we
you do?
also do that.
Oh man, that's a big relief on the. I had it on my back.
Always, as physiotherapists, we recommend the other alternative techniques and skills like the cupping, the acupuncture, and
Yeah,
other
no needles for
techniques
me.
that are very important.
Yeah, I had the cupping done on my back one time, and
Yeah.
it left all these bruises. I looked
Yeah.
like a Lego.
Yeah,
Or
it
like
felt
a
really-
ladybug.
Yeah, it felt really good though. There was a lot of relief on that part when they put it. It works.
Yes,
That's
it's
good.
a
Well,
lot of
if you
release
need
of
it,
the muscles.
Fabiola
You need.
Martinez is your
Thank you so much, Gary, for having
physiotherapist.
here.
Let me ask you this: if we threw Billy on the table right now, pulled his shirt off, and given that he
That's
has
that's a scary thought right there, buddy.
he has he already has a known issue with his sciatic. What would you do? Where would you start?
Okay, first I will start with all the ligaments in the sacrum, that is the sacrotuberoso, the iliolumbar, and I will first do, and also we have to check the biceps femoral that is on the leg, that is
Okay.
behind the leg.
Okay.
Okay, because it's connected with that sciatic
Would
nerve.
we have to shave him first or no?
First, we do like a scratching. Oh no, that doesn't matter, right?
TMI,
We
Gary.
use,
TMI.
we can use a little bit or oil of cream
Appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
or with anything, right? And we first start like as scratching, so we liberate the fascia,
Uh-huh.
and that liberates also a substance called histamina that gets to your brain and produces relaxation and pleasure.
Oh, wow.
So just with that technique, the body relaxes and we can start working in that area. So then we use another technique that is called like the bombshell, that we do like to lower the inflammation of the muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Other skill. And then the last one is the transversal, that is to break if you have there some fibrosis stuck
Mm-hmm.
in that ligament.
And you use your fingers for all this or pieces of wood?
Is first we can start with the hand because the different skins also can vary.
Mm-hmm.
If you have one skin that probably with the instrument or with the wood, it
Mm-hmm.
will be very hard for them. So we first check with the hand, and then if it's ready, we can use other thing.
In your experience, Fabiola, what have you determined regarding stress? Can mental stress cause people to feel like they need to go get a massage?
Yes, of course. We always have to have peace of mind that we recommend,
Mhm.
right? Meditation, the breathing, and everything, because that makes you not get into the point to really be in a injury or tense, right?
Yeah,
So
let me
you
ask
have
you
to
something.
go with a professional.
And that's you. You're the professional.
Yes, I'm here.
Why
for
do
that.
so many people neglect their body? Number one, why do so many people not seek out a Fabiola Martinez for therapy? There's a lot of people who just won't go, and I don't understand why.
Because they don't give self love and self care for their body. I
Mhm.
think the first thing is to self care for your body, because it's everything.
Mhm.
It's what it maintains us alive and healthy,
Yeah.
and keep
Can,
us
can
working.
we
if not-
break down right here? Let's everybody give ourselves a hug. Oh, I love me. I love me mucho.
Billy's like, what?
On the table here, buddy. Hey, Fabiola, you talk about meditation. You know, when probably my last 3 or 4 years of the radio business, I started meditating in my office during lunch.
Excellent.
And that really, I would turn off the lights, you know, I would sit there and I would just breathe, you know, and just follow my breath. And I would just kind of just fade away, you know, into a nice.
Till 2 o'clock.
To a nice vibration.
Was
right?
it that a snoozer? Weren't you asleep?
Yeah. And then I would bring it back, and then I would move on and continue the rest of my day. I mean, that was great. And then when I retired, I would go out in the garage in the morning, and I still do. And just for about 10, 15 minutes, it's just
That's
breathe in and
awesome.
out and just relax.
It's you get into the vibration that you have always have to be in peace, harmony, love.
Yes.
If not, we are always probably in a bad mood, and that's the worst thing, to be in a bad mood.
Is it painful? Is it painful what you do, like to the customer? And all
Yes,
that? Yeah.
it can be painful at first. We always said what we're gonna do, and if we use, for example, the instruments, it can be some bruises that appears. Like for example, I did it on my leg, and I got some there in my calf, but they go away in 24 or 48 hours.
But you don't make anybody
Okay.
cry.
Well,
No,
I'm
of
gonna
course not.
cry.
It's,
Yo, you
it's,
wanna-
it's
I'll
opposite
cry.
the technique.
I'm really tight in my quads. I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna cry.
All right. We're talking with physiotherapist Fabiola Martinez. One more time, Fabiola, your phone number?
It's 956-780-0093.
That's interesting. Hey, thank you so much for being here today. If you don't mind, I'd like to talk about your father. He's
Yes.
I say world famous because I Googled his name and he came up, and he was from Brazil, correct?
Well, from Brazil, they say, because he was also working there as a plastic surgeon,
Ah, I got you.
and with Selena also, they were in
Selena, the entertainer.
The entertainer.
You know,
the
it's
singer.
funny you bring her up because this month is, at the end of the month, March 31st is going to be the anniversary of the day that little monkey murdered her up in Corpus Christi. And
Oh, yes,
so your
terrible.
father treated Selena.
Yes.
Wow,
It
what
was
a revelation.
his personal doctor.
Uh-huh.
Oh, her
Mhm.
personal doctor.
Yes,
Wow.
I'm private.
Now
course.
she didn't have a lot of work done, right? Or what was he doing with her? I mean,
She just did like my dad said. She was already a sculpture,
yes.
So she just do tiny details to her body, like a little liposuction, probably in the sides of the legs that sometimes you can
Those
get
were some
there,
big
the fat.
legs. Yeah.
Yes.
So
And a little more waist, but
he added
just
to it or he took away from
took away.
took away from
Yes,
it.
took away.
Okay.
But most of the body was of her like a perfect sculpture.
Well, when she passed, she was 23. So was this around
Very
the time
young.
that he was treating her or years before?
I think since 20 years, probably when she
When she was
was
about 20?
19 or 20. Yes.
Okay.
Because
And
I met her there in Monterey. We had the opportunity to go to eat with her
oh
after
wow.
her concert. Yes.
Yeah.
And you were how old back then? You were a teenager?
I was a teenager. Yes,
Wow.
like 14.
So
And-
your father practices in Monterrey.
Yes. In
And she would
practicing.
travel there.
Yes, she will travel there most of the time to Monterey to the clinic of my dad.
And your father is Dr. Ricardo Martinez.
Yes.
And did they socialize? Did y'all socialize with her? Were they close? Or I mean, how far did the
Did
relationship?
they go off for some vino and some libations?
Well, at the end, my dad kept it really private. But then when the people start talking a lot of BS,
Uh-huh.
he wanted to really correct the thing, saying that it was a very pure love.
Pure
that
love between the two of them.
Between the two of them.
That's
Yes.
that's amazing. What a revelation right here on the Living Large Theater podcast. I'm sure your father was devastated when the monkey
Of course.
assaulted her and murdered her.
I was the one that called my dad because I just saw it on the news and I was shocked. So I called my dad and he traveled right away to Corpus Christi.
So what's your favorite Selena song?
Oh, a lot of them.
It would have to, for me, it would have to be Amor Prohibido, right?
Well, actually, the two new ones that she then write down, because then I saw the Netflix show and I didn't know that the brother was the one that made the songs of Selena in Spanish.
AB.
Yes.
And he
Yes.
was the producer.
I was a producer.
Right.
But then she started to write in English and she was her own author.
Yeah, she had a hit.
Well, I was back in 96, 97. They were getting ready to roll her out in the general market, the English market,
mainstreamer.
mainstream market, and
That
she
was
passed.
more
She
amazing.
passed, and then the album was released, and
Mhm.
they released 2 songs from that album. And it did very well, and then the
Yes.
movie came out with Jennifer Lopez starring as
Oh,
Selena, and that was like huge. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
put Jennifer Lopez on the map. That performance
Extreme.
Yeah.
of Selena
Yeah.
in that movie,
It was the I Could Fall in Love, the song,
right?
and thinking about you or dreaming about
Dreaming
you.
of yeah.
Yeah.
Dreaming of you.
Yeah.
And I think those two were for my dad.
I bet they were.
Because
I
the-
bet they were. That is something else. That's incredible for a revelation like that here on the Living Large
You
Theater
know, and I
podcast.
look back at that time, and I was saying to friends of mine who were in the business, go, man, this girl was getting ready to explode like
huge,
huge.
extreme.
And if she'd have had a follow up album after that, it would have been. I mean, just no telling what happened. So
Yeah.
it's really sad,
Absolutely.
you know, that happened
Yes,
to her.
It was
you know,
terrible.
I had heard
Yeah.
that she was trying, or not maybe trying, but desiring to someday leave music and focus more on her apparel and fashion designs.
Modeling, fashion designing, perfumes.
Was that true? She wanted
That
to do
was
that?
the thing that they want to open a store in Brazil. That's
I
why you
see.
came up with the Brazil.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So she wanted to perform, but she also wanted to follow her interest in fashion and
Yes.
apparel and modeling and design and
Correct.
things like that. That's amazing. You know,
That
Fabiola,
was
thank you for
amazing.
bringing that up. And
I
you know,
thank
God
you,
bless her. And
Yes.
I know she's in heaven.
Mhm.
And she was an excellent entertainer.
Was a star.
I met her several times at the Fajita Cook-Off here in McAllen, the 4th of July
Wow.
Fajita Cook-Off. We hosted her several times, and she was just a very good person. Fabiola Martinez, a physiotherapist. One more time, shoot out your phone number. Fire me your phone number.
Yes, it's 956-780-0093.
Fabiola Martinez, a great physiotherapist.
Thank you
It's
so
the Living
much.
Large Theater podcast. Fabiola, thank you so much. Noe, thank you. Gary, thank you. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, and the iHeart Podcast Network. You can email us at the livinglargetheater@gmail.com. And if you want to sponsor our show, call our producer Noe at 956-451-1633. No calls after 10 p.m., though, because he goes to sleep early.
Yes, please.
We thank you for listening. Until the next time, have yourself an awesome week, my friend.
Adios.